You open your laptop to finally start that thing. 5 minutes later, you're watching a video about why cats knock things off tables. You didn't decide to do that. Nobody decides that. Your brain just redirected you. And you call it laziness. It's not laziness. It's a defense mechanism, and it's older than you think. Here's what nobody tells you about starting hard things. Your brain doesn't resist the task. It resists the size of the task. Ask it to write the report, and it panics. Ask it to open the document, and it shrugs and says, fine. That gap between what feels threatening and what feels harmless is the entire game. And there's a 2-minute trick built exactly for that gap. Before we get to it, let's expose what's actually happening. Your brain runs on a threat filter. It scans every task and asks one question: is this dangerous? A blinking cursor on an empty page doesn't look dangerous to you, but to the part of your brain wired for survival, unfamiliar and effortful reads the same as unsafe. So it does what it's built to do. It stalls. It reroutes you towards something smaller and safer. Reorganizing your desk, checking one notification, Googling something that doesn't matter. This is why motivation fails so often. Motivation tries to argue with the threat filter using logic. This is important for my future. Your brain doesn't care. It's not built for long-term reasoning in that moment. It's built for immediate safety. You can't out-argue a smoke alarm. You have to stop it from going off in the first place. That's the 2-minute trick. Instead of committing to the task, you commit to 2 minutes of it. Not write the essay, just write for 2 minutes. Not clean the entire apartment, just clean for 2 minutes. The task doesn't shrink. Your brain's perception of the task shrinks. And that's the only thing that was ever in the way. Why it works. 2 minutes is too small to register as a threat. There's no future for your brain to panic about. It can't spiral into, this will take hours and I'll fail, because you never asked it to think that far. You gave it a task so small it doesn't bother mounting a defense. It lets you through the gate without a fight. But here's the part most people miss, and it's the actual mechanism behind why this trick rewires behavior over time, not just in the moment. The moment matters, but the pattern matters more. Once you're 2 minutes in, something shifts. Starting was the expensive part. Continuing is cheap. Your brain already spent its resistance budget stopping you from starting. It doesn't have a second wall built for continuing something you already started. So you keep going. Not because you're disciplined, because stopping now would require a new decision, and your brain, already mid-task, doesn't want to make one. Momentum isn't a mindset, it's a loophole. Do this enough times and something bigger happens. Your brain starts building a new association. Task begins, discomfort spikes briefly, discomfort fades, task continues without incident. Repeat that 50 times and your nervous system stops treating starting as a 5-alarm event. The threat filter recalibrates, not because you fought it, because you kept feeding it evidence that this specific danger doesn't exist. This is different from forcing yourself through resistance, which burns you out in a week. Forcing is fighting the current. The 2-minute trick is finding the one spot in the current where the water's calm enough to step into. Here's how to actually use it. Pick the task you've been avoiding. Don't plan the whole session. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Start doing the smallest visible version of the task. Writing one sentence, doing one set, opening one file and typing one line. When the timer ends, you're allowed to stop. Most days you won't want to. That's not a coincidence. That's the trick working exactly as designed. One warning. Don't turn this into a secret contract with yourself where 2 minutes always means 20. If you do that consciously every time, your brain catches on, and the 2 minutes stops feeling safe again. Let some days actually be 2 minutes. The unpredictability is what keeps the threat filter fooled. This works for the gym. 2 minutes of stretching turns into a full session more often than not. It works for hard conversations. 2 minutes of talking turns into the real conversation you were avoiding. It works for the inbox you've been ignoring for a week. 2 minutes of replying turns into it being done. The size of the first step decides whether you take it at all. Everyone wants the version of themselves who works out daily, finishes the project early, replies to the message immediately. Almost nobody builds that version through willpower. They build it by shrinking the entry point until saying yes costs nothing. 2 minutes is not a discipline hack. It's a way of lying to a part of your brain that's only trying to protect you from something that isn't actually a threat. Use it enough, and eventually you won't need the 2 minutes at all. Starting will just be what you do. So, what's the task you've been circling for 2 minutes without ever starting? Say it in the comments. And if you want more of this, brain over willpower, subscribe.